Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
5:07 here, the morning after the big Hanukkah party at the White House. And Julie, what a scene it was. The Hanukkah party is always exciting, mostly because I get to see pictures of people who I never knew were Jewish.
There you go.
Mark Levin is Jewish? Why did no one tell me about this? Great moment, actually. We've got the video and audio of Mark Levin and the president up. The president called Mark Levin up on the podium at the Hanukkah party. It was amazing. I, of course, was filling in for Mark Levin last night while he was out partying with the Trumps. You see the pecking order in this business, Julie. I hope you recognize exactly where we fit in.
I see.
I'm a little bitter. Coming up at 6:35, Kel Thomas, and I'm not even Jewish, but I wouldn't mind lighting some candles there with the Trump team, and I wouldn't talk to Vanity Fair about it. 6:35, Cal Thomas will be here. 7:05, Dr. Matthew Spalding, brand new book. The professor of Hillsdale is writing about American history. 8:05, Byron York from The Examiner. And at 8:35, Gregory Pemberton. He is your D.C. Police Union head. Julie Gunlock, good morning. Are you feeling it? Because you realize that we are 1 week away from Christmas Eve.
We are. I was in baking mode yesterday.
Oh, that's
Made some
exciting.
Cookies, froze them.
And I love it. I'm so happy.
And I was in a bad mood the whole time.
Why? Why are you in a bad mood when you're
don't
baking
like
Christmas cookies?
I don't know. I don't like baking.
So buy cookies.
No, you can't do that. You've got to make homemade cookies.
Okay. Would your kids would know the difference because they've got
Would
Martha
be
Stewart as a
and they would be mean because they're my children.
Can I just tell you, I love cookies, and Meredith does not spoil me nearly enough because I would love it if she made cookies daily, and I would also be 700 pounds.
Right, you got to watch that.
Sometimes, so like yesterday, it's so funny you should mention cookies. We'll get to Susie Wiles and Vanity Fair and all of that junk in a minute, but you mentioned cookies, so we got to talk about cookies.
Sure.
I love Meredith so much, and she knew I had a very busy day yesterday. I was recording podcast episodes for Heritage, and I filled in for Mark Levin, and there's something else going on yesterday that I had lots of driving and traffic in D.C. and anyway.
Of course, yeah.
She did not bake me cookies, but she did the next best thing. Have you had Chick-fil-A's chocolate chip cookies? No, of course you haven't, because you bake your own cookies.
No, believe me, I don't. I avoid baking. It's just the holidays so. Yeah. I think it's strange that I haven't, but I don't think I have.
So they're relatively new to the menu.
Okay,
but they are, I mean, the most amazing cookies you will ever have in your life. Tell me why.
Are they? And this will reveal the kind of cookie person you are. Are they sort of a chewy, thick chocolate chip cookie or a thin, crispy?
So now I cannot give you a simple answer to this because I don't want to lead you down the wrong path. If you're making me homemade cookies, I want the thinner and I want the crispier.
And I bet you want a little salty.
Right, of course. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I like. That's what I like.
Really?
I take the basic Toll House recipe and I modify it just a little bit more salt than not. And I don't like them to be big, puffy, thick right out of the oven.
I do. But go on.
See. That said, strangely, the Chick-fil-A's are kind of thick, and there's, I don't know what's going on in there, but there's like oatmeal in there as well. It's sort of it's like one of those combo cookies that has texture and there's crunch and there's chew and there's just you would never believe it's from a fast food joint.
And you can, when they put the oats in it, you can lie to yourself a little easier.
Yeah, this is better for me. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is good for my colon. Yes, I'm sorry. It's like Metamucil. It's fabulous.
It's a little hint at how my mind works.
It really was. It was whenever Meredith does that, and when I got home from the traffic, and I had to quickly go into show prep for Mark Levin, and she had a little chocolate chip cookie. She said, "I think this will boost morale."
Oh,
and
well,
she was
sounds
right.
like it did.
Big morale booster. So I don't have to have homemade cookies. I really don't. But But I prefer homemade cookies for
Well,
sure.
having a big tray of a variety, Russian tea cakes, haystacks, the peanut butter blossom cookies.
The peanut butter blossom is like the
right,
like
and then
crack
I always
cocaine.
do a what's wrong with me? A gingerbread sort of cookie.
Oh, sure.
For my husband, those are his favorite. And then I do some other oat cookie. Anyway, so at Christmas we do, and this is my mother used to do this too. You have this huge platter of cookies that's sort of always out, right? Some people do the big bowl of walnuts and the nutcracker, right?
Yeah, right.
The big platter of cookies. I don't have a sweet tooth. I almost eat no cookie. It's not a problem for me.
Can you go back to the Russian tea cake for a minute? What you've mentioned that before, and I have no idea what it is.
The little balls. They're balls, and they're
oh yeah, they look like little
powdered
snowballs.
Sugar.
Everyone calls them snowballs.
Well, not everyone.
Well, I mean, normal people.
Have you never called them Russian tea cakes?
I've never heard them called Russian tea cakes before.
So funny.
I wouldn't have them otherwise because I need to fly my Ukraine flag out front.
Because I'm a patriot.
I like to virtue signal as much as possible.
Okay, so I'll call them snowballs.
Thank you. Oh, I love those little cookies.
Yeah,
those
so anyway, the big platter of cookies is always set out. And, look, I know this comes as a shock. We're a little bit of a judgy family. So my mother would know. My mother would know. You would know. You have no idea. She arrives on Sunday. The amount of cleaning I am doing. Okay, I mean, like baseboard wiping. Like reorganizing.
Is this a Joan Crawford situation? Do you need help?
Completely. I love my mother, but she's kind of a perfectionist, and she's sort of, she's looking around, looking at things. So anyway.
No, wait. So she actually comes in looking for something to complain about.
No. She doesn't
or to judge.
Do this. No.
She just
Let me tell you
quietly
what my mom
judges.
does. I know she's not listening right now. This is what my mom does. My mom does not come in and look around and with her nose in the air. My mom will come in and begin sweeping. She'll just grab the broom.
That's kind of a commentary, isn't
and then she'll grab a rag and she'll get it wet and she'll start scrubbing an area and you're like, oh, I missed that area. She's so mean. And honestly, she doesn't mean it. She likes things tidy.
Listen,
so
her husband's formative years were spent on a nuclear submarine, and they keep those buckets pretty neat and orderly.
Oh no, my dad doesn't notice it. My dad, literally, I could be one of those, hoarders on A&E, those intervention shows, and I don't think my dad would notice. So it's not my dad. Don't blame my dad. Anyway, so I'm so tired. I've been cleaning and baking and Anyway, I love my mom. She's great. She's going to kill me, but she's great for saying any of this stuff.
All right. Well, a little bit more on
pray for me.
On our prepper. We are. I'm currently praying for you. Multitasking. Get my beads. A little bit more on our Christmas preparations because we're for the first time in our marriage. We're having in our marriage. First time in our marriage, we're having a Christmas celebration this weekend with our sponsor kids coming over from all around the country. They're now Navy and Marine Corps officers, but they're coming back here to have a quick Christmas weekend before the actual holiday.
Aww.
And Meredith has become your mother. We will get into those details and other great favorite cooking items for the holidays here this 7-day mark before Christmas Eve. It's 5:15.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
Now, of course, before you get to the cookies, well, no, I guess your cookies are just sort of like around all the time to snack on. They're not a dessert. They're just there, right? Okay, that's fair. But then you've got to get to the main dish, and according to multiple surveys, the three most popular main dishes for Christmas are turkey, ham, and prime rib. And I've done turkey and prime rib for Christmas before. In England, turkey, because they don't know from Thanksgiving because they never had to flee a monarch, right? Yeah. So turkey is their Christmas is their turkey holiday, right?
Oh, okay.
That's the mainstay in England is turkey on Christmas. But here we got to mix it up because we've just had turkey a month ago, right? But I'm fine with having turkey again. I love me a big turkey spread, and I've done the prime rib before. What about you? What's the main dish?
We do a ham. We do a ham, and it's a tradition in our family. We do. My mom is of sort of French Canadian extraction, so she makes tourtière every year, which is pork pie, and which is really like a ground pork stuffed in a crust, a double crust.
Sounds good.
And
is it like a hand raised pie, or is it in a dish? Like
it's in a
casserole?
pie plate. It's in a pie plate. She makes a couple of those, and we always have a ham from a smokehouse in Iowa called Amana. And this was a colony. This was sort of a Unitarian sort of, in the. I'm not kidding. It was a religious group of people, and they lived on a commune.
The dismissive way you say Unitarian.
Sorry. As a Catholic, always. Anyway, and I don't think it exists anymore, but it's sort of a tourist place, and it is related to Amana, the kitchen appliance. The appliance, somehow that broke off. But there is still, like, on the Amana colony in Iowa, there is a smokehouse, and we order ham. I cannot recommend it enough. Amana Smokehouse, Google it. Honestly, we get a massive, like, 14-pound ham from there every year, and that's tourtière and ham, and then a bunch of sides that I make.
And then
so that's
you
our
have
tradition.
Ham derivative meals for the next 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh, ham salad for weeks.
Oh God, I love a good deviled ham salad. Yeah,
and honestly, deviled ham is like the best thing in the world, and I think a dying sandwich filling.
It's true. Although I remember, when I was very young, like late 70s, it was like constant. We would have deviled ham sandwiches. That was
my mother is obsessed with deviled ham sandwiches. We go to the beach every year. In Maine, it's big in Maine. Deviled ham.
Wonder bread. Got to have soft white bread.
On these little buns. It's a big deal in Maine.
Even better, little buns.
So anyway, we'll have a lot of leftovers.
I should consider ham one of these years.
You got to order from Amana Smokehouse. Maybe I'll buy you one.
So we're doing that. Would be very generous of you, and certainly unnecessary. We're having these people. We're having again a couple of Marines, a couple of naval officers over. We're going to do a fun little Christmas here in our home adjacent to the Naval Academy, and it's going to be this is our first time we've had a tree in the house for Christmas. First time we have had all of these things we've never done before because we're always gone.
At
this time of year, so it's great. But I think because they were our sponsor kids and one of their favorite things to do to come to, here's the thing: when you're going home for Christmas, even though this isn't their home, but it's sort of their second home. They spent formative years here, 5 years here on the weekends and on special occasions and stuff while they were being formed as military officers. I feel like I should make them feel back at home. And the mainstay meal was steak. We had grilled steak here with roasted vegetables and just, good
Nothing
old
wrong
basic.
With that.
You got to put meat on the bones. So I feel like I'm just going to get some beautiful, beautiful thick steaks and do steaks.
That is always a winner. That is always
Christmas.
a winner. Yeah, nobody objects to that.
And we are going to be traveling to see family for Christmas Day proper, so I can't have a lot of leftovers. Like if you do a big giant hunk of meat roasted, you're going to have leftovers.
Yeah, but you could do some appetizers that are sort of traditional, like brie with a cranberry topping and crackers, and some other sort of holiday mainstay. Have some, sugared nuts, sugared walnuts, or something like that. You could do all that stuff, and then the steaks. And I mean, potatoes and creamed spinach, all of these things are
exactly
very,
all the fun sides.
Put a little nutmeg in there,
Like you're at the prime rib downtown.
Right,
on 20th
lovely.
Street. Yeah, see, I think that's. I do like doing a prime rib too, but that's a lot of work. That's a lot to do it right.
It is a lot of work, and that's the thing about you're very good at steaks. Steaks are quick, and you want to talk to your guests. Yeah, exactly. I feel like prime rib is also stressful.
It is, because if you let it go just like 15 minutes too long, you got to find that sweet spot of temperature on a prime rib.
Yeah.
All right, I'm getting hungry now. Throw me some of those snowballs, will you? When they're ready. All right, we're done with our Christmas preparations. I mean, not really. We've got more to discuss between now and Christmas proper. But now you're all set, I think, for today. We'll get to the insanity of the Chief of Staff of the White House sitting for 11 interviews with Vanity Fair, thinking it wouldn't be a disaster.
We should probably talk about that and Christmas cocktails at the same time.
That would be good.
Because it makes me want to drink.
I sure, exactly. 5:23.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
Flying through this morning news cycle like we're just baking cookies. It's O'Connor and Company at 5:37. Thanks for tuning in. Coming up at 6:35, Cal Thomas will join us. 7:05, Dr. Matthew Spalding on his new book on our founders. At 8:05, Byron York, Washington Examiner. And at 8:35, Greg Pemberton, head of the D.C. Police Union. It's Larry O'Connor with Julie Gunlock. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning.
The President of the United States, by the way, is going to be making an address to the nation tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. I suspect you'll hear that live here on WMAL right after the Mark Levin show. That's sort of our standard MO. No idea what he's going to be talking about. We'll speculate on that a little bit later because we are getting some indication. But what he should be talking about, in my opinion, is the outrageous scandal still growing at the FBI, uncovered partly because of the great FBI director, Kash Patel, with another tranche of documents that have now been released. These are documents that the Christopher Wray, Merrick Garland regime at the Justice Department never thought would see the light of day, of course, because they never thought President Trump would be elected again, because, of course, they thought he'd be in jail because of their behavior. And this is a perfect indication of that. The Mar-a-Lago raid. The Mar-a-Lago raid, according to newly unclassified documents, the FBI, before the raid, as they were contemplating and planning what they would do, the FBI, or certain members of the FBI, raised alarms and said they didn't believe they had probable cause to raid President Trump's post-presidency home to look for classified documents. That's the bombshell. FBI Director Kash Patel, commenting on social media yesterday, said, "We just turned over documents to Capitol Hill to be made public, showing the FBI told the Justice Department they did not have probable cause for raiding President Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago, but DOJ, quote, didn't give a damn, unquote, and did it anyway." That quote, by the way, is from one of the emails from the Justice Department when the FBI said, hey, this is not a good look. The optics are bad. We don't have probable cause. You know, what was the answer from Joe Biden and Merrick Garland's Justice Department? We don't give a damn. Go do it.
Yeah. What is that about dismantling democracy and taking away people's rights and fascism and totalitarian? I've heard these words thrown around, Larry.
Weaponizing the Justice Department against your political enemies. Yeah, things like that.
Yeah. Norms, Larry.
Chuck Grassley, the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, posted one of the emails and said, received shocking new documents today from DOJ and FBI showing FBI did not believe it had probable cause to raid President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home, but Biden DOJ pushed for it anyway. Based on the records, Mar-a-Lago raid was a miscarriage of justice. Okay, here's my problem. There's just a couple of redactions on this document. Mostly, it's the identity of the people who were exchanging these emails that are being redacted. And maybe that's a legal thing. Maybe that's some sort of Federal Employee Protection Act or something. But at this point, I join most of our listeners right now who hear these stories and say, what are you going to do about it? I don't think, well, I can't say I don't think. Let me just say it appears as though Senator Chuck Grassley, FBI Director Kash Patel, and even the President of the United States and Attorney General Pam Bondi don't quite recognize the larger ramifications of this. On the surface, it looks like, oh, they did Trump wrong, and they were awful to Donald Trump, and this is a personal thing with Donald Trump, and Donald Trump's anger about it is his own personal, disgust at how they treated him and how poorly they treated him. Most of us don't look at it that way. Most of us see this and we are terrified because we can see what the highest levels of power under the color of law can do to a former president, one of the most high-profile people in the world. What about John and Jane, anonymous American citizen just trying to go about their lives and work and feed their children. If they can do this to Trump, they can do it to anyone, and that's why people need to be punished. Who gets punished for this? Julie, you're going to have to turn your mic on as you rant. That's very important.
We watched this. Thank you, sir. I've been agreeing with you for 15 minutes. We watched this over and over and over and over again, and there's never anything more than a strongly worded letter, and it is so frustrating. They are emboldened. They know if there isn't consequences for this, Larry, they're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep doing it. There's never going to be an end to this. And people like me who don't have, the lawyers and the investigators.
Right.
What does that say to us?
That's right.
Good luck.
Well, but the only way we can have any sort of recourse or justice is if we win the presidency and we're able to appoint the next FBI director. And then what do we get? Right. We still don't get actually. Yeah, that's here. So I will leave you with this. What's the real scandal here? That the DOJ now overruled the FBI's consideration that they didn't have probable cause to raid the private residence of a former president and set him up for indictments and smear his name worldwide to make him look like a criminal or a spy. I mean, let's not forget they were saying, he had nuclear secrets he was going to sell to the Saudis or sell to Iran. Remember all of that? And this is treason. He should hang for this. What's the bigger scandal? That the FBI and the DOJ did all of this, and now we know, and we see it in writing, that they openly said we don't have probable cause, we don't give a damn, we're going to do it anyway. Is that the scandal? Or is the real scandal that as this is being examined, and as the FBI reveals it, and as the Senate Judiciary Committee tweets about it, in the long run, none of it was illegal? That they can do that, and they can walk away without any repercussions. What's the real scandal? It's 5:43.
This afternoon on the Derek Hunter Show, the president prepares to address the nation. Democrats prepare to freak out about whatever he says. We'll talk about it at 3 o'clock on WMAL.
Yeah, you're right, Derek. People are freaking out. I mean, I'm curious as to what he's going to talk about. There was some indication yesterday that when the president addresses the nation from the White House tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, it will be kind of a look back on the year that was the first year of this second Trump administration, even though we're still another month away from that, and sort of talk about what's been accomplished and the road ahead. And there are some pretty, I saw some stats yesterday from Kevin Hassett, who potentially could be the new Fed chair. He's currently the top economic advisor of President Trump, about how the deficit, they've made a cut of, I don't want to be wrong on the number that I quote, but it was something like $700 billion in deficit reduction. And that's, by the way, with a government shutdown in the midst of it. And much of that is because of increased tax revenue, because when you lower taxes and give people more money, $600 billion this year in deficit reduction. When you give people more money, the government actually ends up getting more tax revenue. That's always the case. But, the CBO always says, how are you going to pay for this? Because they never do that kind of grading. With more economic growth, we could actually, over the course of 10 years, have close to $7 trillion in deficit reduction if that trend continues. Plus, the trade deficit is better because of tariffs, something that they said could never happen. And plus, Scott Bessent on Maria Bartiromo earlier this week said that even with the government shutdown and having to recover out of the Biden stagflation, we're still looking at about a 3.5% gross domestic product growth over the course of the year. I mean, all of that is positive and incredible considering the headwinds that this administration had. So that could be what we hear from President Trump tonight. Or we could hear about Venezuela. There's been a lot of activity in the Caribbean, the South Caribbean Sea. Obviously, we've been using what they call kinetic activities, which is basically rockets exploding drug cartel boats and narco-terrorists out of the sea as they try to bring their terrorist activities and their drugs to our shores. We've also had quite a few naval ships grouping over the course of the last couple of months in the Caribbean. And, of course, we had the acquisition of an oil tanker of the seized and embargoed oil from Venezuela. Basically, our Coast Guard, along with the Navy, acted like, well, pirates for the good guys. Jumped on board and seized that tanker. So there's been a lot of activity down there in the Caribbean focused on Venezuela. And yesterday, the president put out this statement, which was reposted and endorsed by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who has always had a focus on Latin American affairs. He said this: Venezuela is completely surrounded by the largest armada ever assembled in the history of South America. It will only get bigger, and the shock to them will be like nothing they have ever seen before. Until such time as they return to the United States of America all of the oil, land, and other assets that they previously stole from us, the illegitimate Maduro regime is using oil from these stolen oil fields to finance themselves, drug terrorism, human trafficking, murder, and kidnapping. For the theft of our assets and many other reasons, including terrorism, drug smuggling, and human trafficking, the Venezuelan regime has been designated a foreign terrorist organization. Therefore, today, I am ordering a total and complete blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers going into and out of Venezuela. The illegal aliens and criminals that the Maduro regime has sent to the United States during the weak and inept Biden administration are being returned to Venezuela at a rapid pace. America will not allow criminals, terrorists, or other countries to rob, threaten, or harm our nation, and likewise will not allow a hostile regime to take our oil, land, or any other assets, all of which must be returned to the United States immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. He also signed that post, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, in case anyone had forgotten. There have been a lot of people saying, what's going on in the Caribbean? What's going on with Venezuela? Are we going to send in troops? Are there going to be boots on the ground? What is happening? And up until now, I've just sort of said, this is saber rattling, and we're just putting pressure on Maduro, and eventually he's going to have to step down and seek exile in Paraguay or something. Now, for the first time, I think there may actually be military action here based on this language, Julie.
Well, he's a narco-terrorist. He is not the legitimate president of that country, so many people think it's legitimate. It's really interesting what's been going on in the sort of southern hemisphere with Milei as president of Argentina and Chile just elected, which of course the New York Times and the BBC call far right, Jose Antonio Cast. He's a Christian, he's a devout Catholic father, and he is on the right, again, just elected to Chile. I think about, I'm sure you do too, think about the sort of South America we grew up with, Larry. Certainly not a lot of right-wingers being elected in South America, but that's another part of the pressure.
No, I saw somebody show a map of South America, like blue-red, showing blue as the communists and red as the conservatives who have now been elected, and it's kind of 50-50 now, which is new development for South America.
Yeah, so South America, it's really interesting. Maduro, isn't just under pressure from the United States. He is being surrounded by Trump allies.
Yeah.
And so that's another, I mean, you kind of look at the time to strike, this is the time. This is the time where there are friends in South America.
Listen, it was many, many years ago that we had a good relationship with Venezuela, that we explored for oil, that our companies, American companies, protected by the American government, ventured into that nation and built up their oil industry that was non-existent. That's where that country got their wealth. Then they elected Hugo Chavez. He's a Marxist. He kicked us out. He seized the oil. And, of course, he plundered the nation and plundered their assets because that's what communists do. And now, decades later, the U.S. government under President Donald Trump has said, enough. We want our stuff back. And, well, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But make no mistake, by calling them a foreign terrorist organization and by calling for a full blockade on their oil tankers, I mean, blockades are, by definition, an act of war. And now we'll see how it plays out. And maybe that's what the president will be addressing the nation about tonight at 9 p.m. It's 5:53.